Good morning. Is it on? Okay, that doesn't sound like it. Hi, happy rainy morning. Prayers for Corpus and Houston and that whole area. Got a lot of family down there, and I grew up down there. So anyway, I'm glad you all are here. I'm very glad you all are here. This is a really special Sunday as readers choose their most favorite reading from over the year and want to reshare those words with us today. I have several announcements that are really, really important. And the first being right after this service, we are having a reception for guess who? Reverend Diana Hughes. She will be with us one more week, and then she is leaving. And everyone who knows her and those who don't know her, come meet her. You'll want to come to the reception and give her a hug goodbye. For visitors, we have an orientation today. There's a light snack or lunch served as well. If you're interested in that brief orientation, meet out at the visitors table out in the foyer, and you'll be directed as to where to go. And then I have one more really important announcement, and I'm going to say get the hints out to the lobby or the foyer afterwards. If you are planning to be here for our kickoff sesquicentennial year reception on Sunday, September 10th. You no doubt saw it in the emails, but they need you to either tell them you're coming or you're not coming. You can do it by signing up today, or you can go online, but please let them know ASAP so they'll know how much food to prepare. Now, visitors, welcome. Do we have any of you who are brave enough to stand up and tell us your name and tell us where you're from and that you're here? Yes. Oh, my goodness. Look at the support here. And Jim Lewis needs to stand up. Okay. We're going to go on my right, your left, with the lady right here. Oh, there's another one. Hi. You want to tell us who you are? You're what? Riley, hi. And where are you from?
Oxford.
Oxford, England.
Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. I was trying to pick an accent up and I couldn't get it. Glad you're here. Okay, welcome.
I'm Anne Marie Turley from UUC-QC in the Quad Cities. And is here with my son.
Welcome. And by Quad Cities in Iowa? Okay. I was born there. Good city. Okay. Hello. Hi. And de onde vem Brasil? De onde? Que cidade? In Belo. Oh, it's so beautiful there. Welcome. Benvenido. You go together? Come on back. Yeah, welcome. Okay. Welcome. We got someone here right behind.
I missed the prompt. Am I supposed to just say my name?
Whatever you feel like saying.
Okay, my name is Sharon Williams.
And you're from here?
Yeah, we're from Kansas City.
Welcome. Glad you're here. Okay.
I'm Jim Lewis. I'm kind of a visitor.
Jim Lewis.
I guess I'm living in the Bay Area now for a few years. And so I'm just back in town and stopped in again. So I haven't seen a lot of you for a while.
Jim, update him on your stance.
I'm through with seminary. I'm through with my internship. And I'm kind of waiting to see the people who give me the final stamp to move forward.
Congratulations.
We're proud of you. Okay.
I'm Catherine. I'm from UUSN in Manhattan, Kansas, and we live in Kansas City.
Welcome. Glad you're here.
And this is my niece, Nicole Loyacano, and this is the first time she's visited here at All Souls, although she's just bought a house in the Brookside area.
Welcome. We'll see you again, I hope. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Yes. Oh my goodness. Welcome back, Echo. Okay. And now we'll have our chalice lighting after our words of gathering.
Good morning. My name is Sharon Grosshart, and I'm a member of this church. I'd like to welcome all of you and so many wonderful visitors and the old folks as well as the young old folks. But before I do anything else, I would like to give you the chance to welcome your neighbor on either side of you. And just, take a moment and say hey. Maybe introduce yourself. Given a chance. That's wonderful. I'd like to welcome all of you on this rainy Sunday morning, but before we go any further, we will light the chalice with the help of Arabella, one of our younger members.
Good morning. My name is Arabella, and I light this chalice for acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations.
Thank you, Arabella. In our liturgy, the chalice is a symbol of many things: a beacon of hope, a light to illuminate the quest we are always on for truth and meaning, and a symbol of love within our community. Today's service is entitled Reader's Choice, Words That Move. It features 5 of the talented, generous folks who read for our Sunday morning services. To begin this service, I would like to share with you some words by David C. Pohl. We come to this time and this place to discover the wondrous gift of free religious community, to renew our faith in the holiness, goodness, and beauty of life, to reaffirm the way of the open mind and full heart, to rekindle the flame of memory and hope, and to reclaim the vision of an earth made fair with all her people one. We will now sing our first hymn. Please stand as you may, and Tom Lancaster, and are willing or able, Tom Lancaster, our wonderful resident special tenor, will lead you in your singing.
Sing thy grace. this day. Help us bind ourselves in union. Help our hands tell of our love. With thine aid, O fount of justice, earth be fair as heaven above.
Please remain standing for the words of covenant. Goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And why don't you just stay standing and we'll sing the children out with gusto. Go now in peace, may love guide all your ways. Beauty be the blessing of your nights and days. Truth on your lips and kindness in your deeds. Faith to follow where the human spirit leads. You may be seated. Now I'd like to introduce Judy Sherry, who will talk to us about Grandparents Against Gun Violence. And you'll notice in your bulletin explanation of offering. You any loose change will go toward them, and if you make a check out, you can put in the memo line that it is for Grandparents Against Gun Violence. Thank you. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I'm just going to keep saying thank you because this church has been wonderful to Grandparents Against Gun Violence since we began. We had our early meetings here. You all have continued to support us in so many ways, including the offering. So I'm thanking you very much. I know that we've had the opportunity to speak to you now 3 times. The first week, Evelyn did a wonderful job of telling you a little bit about our history, how we began. Then one of our other members was here to tell you about our new project called Locket for Love, which I won't take a lot of time. We have a flyer out on the table just to tell you that the program is giving free gun locks to gun owners. We go to all kinds of community events. In fact, I'm leaving shortly because I have one to go to. I hope they're as brave about the rain as you all are. But we've been going, there are a lot of back-to-school events right now that we've attended. We're working with Children's Mercy Hospital to pass out the gun locks, and we hope as the program grows, because the gun locks are $5 a piece, we hope to make this a really signature program so that we can distribute gun locks all over the city. This is not an inner city problem. Accidental death and suicide is a problem everywhere, and the proliferation of guns just makes it sadly that much easier for people to harm themselves. So, but what I was going to talk about today is another project of Grandparents Against Gun Violence, which we named the Heartland Coalition Against Gun Violence. And as I say, we continue to meet here. We decided early on in our life here that we are stronger together than if different groups just do their own thing. So we began our first year, we had 7 co-sponsors with us of the coalition. And again, All Souls, you start with A, you were the first in so many ways. And now they were 7 the first time. We put on a community forum every year. We did one, our first forum was gun violence, working together. The second one was gun violence, a public health issue, and Rex Archer was our keynote speaker. Last year it was gun violence, a culture of fear, and for the first time we had a national speaker. We had Leonard Pitts, the columnist who appears in our paper often. And this year the title is Gun Violence, Keeping Our Children Safe. Bless you. And our speaker is Nicole Hockley, who is the mother of Dylan Hockley, one of the kids who was killed at Sandy Hook. So we anticipate a very moving event. And that will be Monday, October 9th. We met, our first year was here. Second 2 years we did it at the Kaufman Center, and this year we anticipate having outgrown the Kaufman Center, so we're going to be at Pearson Hall on the UMKC campus. We've also learned a bit about how much tolerance people have for a full day, and we've shortened the forum so that Nicole will be our keynote speaker. Then we're going to have a panel that will consist of somebody from the Shawnee Mission School District who's in charge of school safety, a psychiatrist from Children's Mercy Hospital who will talk about teen suicide, which is just sadly just growing so much, and then a sergeant from the Kansas City Police Department who will talk about accidental deaths because he sees the results so often. Then we'll have a working lunch where we will spend time talking about what we heard, and most importantly, what can we do? What are ways that we can work to address this problem of gun safety? We no longer feel the argument about discussing whether people should or should not have guns, whatever we think, sadly, what did they say, that horse has left the barn? People have guns. So the next thing we need to talk about is how do we keep our kids safe? How do we keep our kids safe in school, in their homes, in the general community? And that's going to be the thrust of this conference. And then we will close it at 2 o'clock instead of our usual 3:30. So I hope many of you will come. I think it will be a very moving and very compelling experience. And I think so many of us understand the issue and don't quite know what to do about it. And being part of a large group, we anticipate 300 people coming, and being part of that group and talking about what we might be able to do, we think will be very powerful. I have flyers outside. As I say, I have to leave for an event, but Evelyn, my supervisor, has volunteered to staff that table. We have information about Lock It for Love and also about the forum. So I hope you'll stop by. But I can only repeat, and I apologize for that, you all have been with us from day one, and we have appreciated every single thing you do and look forward to many years of working together. And thank you again for letting me come today.
Do you hear, oh my friend, in the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land? Do you hear, in the heights on the plain, in the vale, in the main, in the sun, in the rain? Do you hear, through the roar, through the rush, through the throng, through the crush? Do you hear in the rush of your soul, hear the cry fear won't still, hear the heart's call to will, hear a sigh's startling trill in your soul, From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend? Do you hear, all the dreams, all the dares, all the sighs, all the prayers? They are yours, mine, and theirs. Do you hear, They are yours, mine, and theirs. Do you hear,
Thank you, Tom and Anthony. Now I feel blessed. That was beautiful. We will now dedicate the offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create a just and compassionate society. Today is a very special Sunday for us readers at All Souls. The rest of the church year, we gladly read prose and poetry that is chosen by someone else. But today is the last Sunday in August, which for the last 3 years has been designated Reader's Choice Sunday. In other words, today we have chosen the words we will read. Words that have moved each one of us in some way. Words that compel us to ponder, to chuckle, laugh out loud maybe, to speak out, to change, to act, to march. As you listen, we hope that you may also be moved a little in some special way.
Good morning. These past few months, my muse has led me to memories of my youth during the summer, growing up near Grandview, in a basic 2-bedroom house with a well, a barn, a chicken coop near the Little Blue River. Lots of flower beds and a big vegetable garden and a horse. Dad made sure we had a horse. Learning to ride. Daisy Mary was a gentle mare, a roan, nothing special, but just right for kids to learn to ride, to saddle up, curry, feed, and pet. Somewhere she'd learned the trick of bloating her chest with air. You'd cinch the saddle tight, but soon out of the barn, the saddle would slip, and she had you. I tried the trick once of running her around the pasture to shrink her lungs. The saddle slipped, of course. I came back hanging upside down. It was my brother's idea. He must have known. A few years later, Jean and I decided to play rodeo, bareback, slapping her rump to get a buck or two. That time I landed on the ground. Never have understood how I never broke anything growing up. I mean, we played tackle football, no helmets or pads or cleats, but never a full team. 3 or 4 on the side was extravagant. Run out of bounds, you landed in the barberry hedge. The 4th of July brought special excitement and opportunity, fireworks. 60-some years ago, Dad would order what seemed an endless supply of fireworks, and for a time, we were king of the hill. He understood the prepubescent boy. For 2 weeks, we blew up and blasted whatever we chose, watching cats, cans, and buckets fly, saving the best for the 4th, the sparkling cones, the spinners, the big rockets. The rest was fluff, but stuff to imagine with and think possible with, stuff to alter the ditches' banks. Miners and engineers we were, road builders. In those days, the school year ended just before Memorial Day, and then it was summer, June. Summer mornings we spent hoeing in the garden, our barefooted toes in the warm earth. Afternoons we biked to the river, followed the rough path to the bank by the swimming hole and the low, stone-paved falls, square-cut rectangles of fossils-filled limestone. Brought back to the air and sun to boys' laughter and taunts, buck naked and talking dirty. Evenings we ran through the grass barefooted, evenings laughing, we gathered fireflies, put them in jars for the glow, lay in the grass, tasting the oxalis and foxtails, and wonder the night sky. The shooting stars like candles riding a waterfall. And now for something a bit deeper from Robert Frost. for once then, something. Others taunt me with having knelt at well curbs, always wrong to the light, so never seeing deeper down in the well than where the water gives me back. In a shining surface picture, me, myself, in the summer heaven, godlike, looking out of a wreath of fern and cloud puffs. Once, when trying with chin against a well curb, I discerned, as I thought, beyond the picture, through the picture, something white, uncertain, something more of the depths, and then I lost it. Water came to rebuke the too clear water. One drop fell from a fern, and lo, a ripple shook whatever it was lay there at bottom, blurred it, blotted it out. What was that whiteness? Truth? A pebble of quartz? For once then, something.
When I first heard this piece by Annie Dillard, I resonated to it really on two accounts. One is Dillard's wonderful writing on nature, but more than that, her sense of being able to catch the awe that we humans feel when we contemplate our universe. She was lucky to see a solar eclipse from a mountaintop where you saw the total sweep of the moon shadow going down the mountain and across the plain, something that those of us on the flat land can only imagine. I also appreciate this piece for a quip that a friend of mine told me that maybe some of you have heard, where a supplicant raised his arms to the sky and said, "Oh Lord, send us a sign that we should impeach Trump." Like black out the sun. But to Annie Dillard and more profound considerations. When you see an eclipse, it is entirely different from what you know. It is especially different for those of us whose grasp of astronomy is so frail that given a flashlight, a grapefruit, 2 oranges, and 15 years, we still could not figure out which way to set the clocks for daylight savings time. Usually, it is a bit of a trick to keep your knowledge from blinding you. But during an eclipse, it is easy. What you see is so much more convincing than any wild-eyed theory you may know. I saw early in the morning the sun diminish against a backdrop of sky. I saw a circular piece of that sky appear, suddenly detached, blackened, and backlighted. From nowhere it came and overlapped the sun. It did not look like the moon. It was enormous and black. If I had not read that it was the moon, I could have seen the sight 100 times and never thought of the moon once. If, however, I had not read that it was the moon, if, like most of the people throughout world's time, I had simply glanced up and seen this thing, then I doubtless would not have speculated much. I would have, like Emperor Louis of Bavaria in 840, simply died of fright on the spot. It looked like a lens cover or the lid of a pot. It materialized out of thin air, black and flat and sliding, outlined in flame. Seeing this black body was like seeing a mushroom cloud. If you were to glance out and all at once see a row of mushroom clouds rising on the horizon, you would know at once that what you were seeing remarkable as it was intrinsically not worth remarking. No use running to tell anyone. Significant as it was, it did not matter a whit. For what is significance? It is significance for people. No people, no significance. This is all I have to tell you. In the deeps are the violence and terror of which psychology has warned us. But if you ride these monsters deeper down, if you drop with them over the world's rim, you find that our sciences cannot locate the name, the substrate, the ocean or matrix or ether, which buoys the rest, which gives goodness its power for good, and evil its power for evil. The unified field, our complex and inexplicable caring for each other and for our life together here. This is a given. It is not learned. People on all the hillsides, including, I think, myself, screamed when the black body of the moon detached from the sky and rolled over the sun. But something else was happening at that same instant, and it was this, I believe, which made us scream. The second before the sun went out, we saw a wall of dark shadow come speeding toward us. We no sooner saw it than it was upon us like thunder. It roared up the valley. It slammed our hill and knocked us out. It was the monstrous swift shadow cone of the moon. I have since read that this wave of shadow moves 1,800 miles an hour. Language can give no sense of that sort of speed. 1,800 miles an hour. It was 195 miles wide, no end in sight. You saw only the edge. It rolled at you across the land at 1,800 miles an hour, hauling darkness like plague behind it. Seeing it and knowing it was coming straight for you was like feeling a slug of anesthetic shoot up your arm. If you think fast, you may have time to think, soon it will hit my brain. You can feel the deadness race up your arm. You can feel the appalling, inhuman speed of your own blood. We saw the wall of shadow coming and screamed before it hit. Less than 2 minutes later, when the sun emerged, the trailing edge of the shadow cone sped away. It coursed down our hill and raced eastward over the plain, faster than the eye could believe. It swept over the plain and dropped over the planet's rim in a twinkling. It had clobbered us, and now it roared away. We blinked in the light. It was as though an enormous, loping god in the sky had reached down and slapped the earth's face.
This reading by Robert Terry Weston when he was minister of the Unitarian Church in Omaha. When I was on a ministerial search committee, the majority of the potential ministers that we took to different churches to do a service, majority of them use this as part of their service. Out of the stars in their flight, out of the dust of eternity, here have we come. stardust and sunlight, mingling through time and through space. Out of the stars have we come, up from time. Out of the stars have we come. Time out of time, before time, in the vastness of space, Earth spun to orbit the sun. Earth with the thunder of mountains newborn, the boiling of seas, Earth warmed by sun, lit by sunlight. This is our home. Out of the stars have we come. Mystery hidden in mystery. Back through all time. Mystery rising from rocks in the storm and the sea. Kindled by sunlight on earth arose life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Ponder with awe. Out of the sea to the land. Up from darkness to life. Rising to walk and to fly. Out of the sea trembled life. Ponder this thing in your heart. Ponder with awe. Eyes to behold, throats to sing, mates to love. Life from the sea, worn by sun, washed by rain. Life from within, giving birth, rose to love. This is the wonder of time. This is the marvel of space. Out of the stars swung the earth. Life upon earth rose to love. This is the marvel of man, rising to see and to know. Out of your heart cry wonder. Sing that we live. Florence Page Jacques was married to Francis Jacques, who was one of the top wildlife artists in the mid-20th century, and he was on a sketching trip in Canada and wrote her about puffins. And his drawing really did, when it's not flying, really does sort of scrunch down on its feet there and look round. There once was a puffin, just the shape of a muffin, and he lived on an island in the bright blue sea. He ate little fishes, which were most delicious. And he had them for supper, and he had them for tea. But this poor little puffin, he couldn't play nothing, for he hadn't anybody to play with at all. So he sat on his island, and he cried for a while, and he felt very lonely, and he felt very small. Then along came the fishes, and they said, if you wishes, you can have us for playmates instead of for tea. So they now play together in all sorts of weather, and the puffin eats pancakes like you and like me. And one about the importance of knowing the right names for the animals. These are things I read to my biology classes. I give you now Professor Twist, a conscientious scientist. Trustees exclaimed, he never bungles, and sent him off to distant jungles. Camped on a tropic riverside, one day he missed his loving bride. She had, the guide informed him later, been eaten by an alligator. Professor Twist could not but smile. You mean he said a crocodile?
The reason I'm not on the program is that I was a last-minute entry, and I played the the old lady card and got in. This is a poem by Mary Oliver entitled "Green, Green is My Sister's House." "Don't you dare climb that tree or even try," they said, "or you will be sent away to the hospital of the very foolish, if not the other one." And I suppose, considering my age, it was fair advice. But the tree is a sister to me. She lives alone in a green cottage high in the air. And I know what would happen. She'd clap her green hands. She'd shake her green hair. She'd welcome me. Truly, I try to be good, but sometimes a person just has to break out and act like the wild and springy thing one used to be. It's impossible not to remember wild and not want to go back. So if someday you can't find me, you might look into that tree, or, of course it's possible, under it.
I found this poem last November when looking for something to present about gods and heroes. I'm reading excerpts of the longer poem today. Great muse that from this hall, absent for long has never been. Great muse of song, colossal muse of mighty melody, vocal calliope, with thine august and contrapuntal brow, thy vast throat builded for harmony, for the strict, monumental, pure design and the melodic line. Be thou tonight with all beneath these rafters, be with me. If I address thee in archaic style with words obsolete, words obsolescent, it is that for a little while the heart must, oh, indeed must, from this angry and outrageous present itself withdraw into some past in which most crooked evil, although quite certainly conceived and born, was not yet law. Archaic or obsolescent at the least, be thy grave speaking and the careful words of thy clear song. For the time wrongs us, and the words most common to our speech today salute and welcome to the feast conspicuous evil. Or against him all day long cry out, telling of ugly deeds and most uncommon wrong. Be thou tonight with all beneath these rafters, be with me. But oh, be more with those who are not free, who herded into prison camps, all shame must suffer, and all outrage see, where music is not played nor sung. Though the great voice be there, no sound from the dry throat across the thickened tongue comes forth, nor has he heart for it. Beauty in all things, no, we cannot hope for that. But some place set apart for it, here may dwell. And with your aid, Melpomene, and all thy sister muses, for ye are, I think, daughters of memory, within the tortured mind as well. And thou, O lovely and not sad Euterpe, be thou with this hall tonight. Bid us remember all we ever had of sweet and gay delight, we who are free, but cannot quite be glad, thinking of huge, abrupt disaster brought upon so many of our kind, who treasure, as do we, the vivid look on the unfrightened face, the careless, happy stride from place to place, and the unbounded regions of untrammeled thought, open as interstellar space to the exploring and excited mind. O muses, O immortal nine, or do ye languish? Can ye die? Must all go under? How shall we heal without your help? A world by these wild horses torn asunder. How shall we build anew? How start again? How cure, even moderate this pain without you, and you strong? If ye sleep, waken. And if ye sicken and plan to die, do not that now. Hear us in what sharp need we cry, for we have help nowhere if not in you. Pity can much, and so a mighty mind, but cannot all things do. By you forsaken, we shall be scattered, we shall be overtaken. Oh, come, renew in us the ancient wonder, the grace of life, its courage and its joy. Weave us those garlands nothing can destroy. Come with your radiant eyes, with your throats of thunder.
You'll probably recognize this poem. One of our wonderful guest ministers read it earlier this summer, but I wanted to offer a little different interpretation. It's called Let America Be America Again by Langston Hughes. It was written more than 80 years ago, and it still has resonance today, probably more than ever before. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free. America never was America to me. Oh, let America be the dream, the dreamer's dream. Let it be the great, strong land of love, where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme. That any man be crushed by one above. It never was America to me. Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real. Life is free. Equality is in the very air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you who mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I'm the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I'm the Negro bearing slavery scars. I'm the red man driven from the land. I'm the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, the mighty crush the weak. I'm the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit,
power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed. I'm the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I'm the worker sold to the machine. I'm the Negro servant to you all. I'm the people, humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream. Beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years. Yet, I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lee, and torn from black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free. The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today? The millions shot down when we strike? The millions who have nothing for our pay? For all the dreams we've dreamed, all the songs we've sung, all the hopes we've held, and the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay, except the dream that's almost dead today. Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again. Oh, sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live like leeches on people's lives, we must take back our land again, America. Oh, yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be. Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we, the people, must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the world's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. It'll settle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. For the times they are a-changing.
I won't be long. I'll just read one of my poems. We've gone a little over time. That was wonderful again, Tom. Thank you. Since the election, I have to admit, I have been listening to a lot of folk music, and I've learned a lot. I learned that Woody Guthrie, one of the idols of Bob Dylan, I learned that as a child, he was raised in a very racist situation in Oklahoma in the 1910s. And he used the N-word a lot without even, in his music. And in 1937, when he hit Los Angeles and began singing on the radio, he didn't have enough sense to stop using the N-word in a lot of his music. And he was written a very moving letter talking about words that move. Moving letter by a young black college student telling him that anyone with any intelligence doesn't use the N-word on the radio or anywhere else in public. And to get your act together, I'm using those words. Well, Woody Guthrie, he had always been against lynching, even though his dad may have participated in one the year before he was born, but he wrote songs against it. He was really taken aback by this letter, and he read it on the air the next day, and he apologized for all of the frothings that slipped from the side of his mouth, and he promised that he would be vigilant in not doing it again. Well, he don't know if that was true, but I do know that he was an adamant writer and activist for the civil rights movement, along with the labor movement, until the day he died. So he changed, and that's kind of what I want to read about, that we can change our mind. We don't have to be the kind of closed-minded, angry person that it is so easy to continue to be. And so I'd like to read just one poem by a teacher who lives in New York City. And if I can find it, because it's in the midst of all of these things I'm not going to read. You are so blessed today. Blessed by the music and the poetry. And I feel blessed by this poem. This poem is written by a young white teacher who is an activist teacher in New York City, and he's a part of the slam movement, the whatever it's called, the spoken word kind of revolution that is going on. And thank goodness we will have it more and more, because we need it, wonderfully need it. This one is by Taylor Molly. He's a teacher. He's an 8th grade teacher in this poem, and he's writing about how he wants to write a poem to save the world. I'm writing the poem that will change the world, and it's Lily Wilson at my door. Lily Wilson, the recovering like addict, the worst I've ever seen. So like bad, the whole 8th grade started calling her like Lily, like Wilson, like, until I declared my classroom a like-free zone. And she could not speak for days. But when she finally did, it was to say, Mr. Molly, this is so hard. Now I have to think before I say anything. Imagine that, Lily. It's for your own good, even if you don't like it. I'm writing the poem that will change the world, and it's Lily Wilson at my door. Lily is writing a research paper for me about how homosexuals shouldn't be allowed to adopt children. I'm writing the poem that will change the world, and it's like Lily, like Wilson, like at my door. She's having trouble finding sources, which is to say, ones that back her up. They all argue in favor of what I thought I was against. And it took 4 years of college, 3 years of graduate school, and every incidental teaching experience I have ever had to let out only, well, that's really interesting, Lily. What do you propose to do about this? That's what I want to know. And the 8th grade mind is a beautiful thing. Like a newborn baby's face, you can often see it change before your very eyes. I can't believe I'm saying this, Mr. Molly, but I think I'd like to switch sides. And I want to tell her to do more than just believe it, but to enjoy it. That changing your mind is one of the best things to finding out whether or not you still have one. Or even that minds are like parachutes, that it doesn't matter what you pack them in with them so long as they open at the right time. Oh, God, Lily, I want to say, you make me feel like a teacher, and who could ask to feel more than that. I want to say all this, but manage only, Lily, I am like so impressed with you. So finally, I taught somebody something, namely how to change her mind, and learned in the process that if I ever change the world, it's going to be one 8th grader at a time. Well, we all have our 8th graders. Ourselves, our children, our grandchildren, our friends and family, if they let us, only if they let us. Our audiences. The trick is to keep it open, always listening, to hear. Do you hear? Do you hear, as Tom sang? To listen, to hear, to live in the moment, to be. We'll now sing our closing hymn, and that is Our World is One World. Let's stand.
Us all, the seas that wash us round about. stand or fall. The world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, be in us and among us now and always. Have a wonderful week.